Very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mamani. I hope you all are doing good. Today we will go through 18th and 19th May's PIB, and I have got a special topic for you as well, like every day. The thing is, last time we talked about electronic vehicles, how we can introduce EVs in our country, isn't it? We talked about this thing that with the help of public transportation, we can introduce electronic vehicles. Now, today I have got some important updates, or you can call it add-ons as well, that that will help you with your mains examination question, because electronic vehicle is going to be a big thing in future. We will be find ourselves in this electronic vehicles. Nowadays in many parts of our country we have seen successful introduction of electronic rickshaws and buses and other things. So we'll talk about some add-ons of EVs, but before that, a positive start. Abraham Lincoln has said, nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, if you want to see the real face of a man, then give him power and you will know whether that person is a good man or bad man. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams, as you can see on your screen. They are designed by best faculties of our country. The quality that you are going to get from our pen drive and tablet courses is going to be off top of the range. To find out more about it, to check out StudyIQ.com. If you have any question or queries, you have chat support, as well as you can give us a call on this numbers as well, and I will share the PDF of today's lecture on my Facebook page and Twitter handle. Don't forget to hit the like button in this video if you learn something from today's discussion, of course, and do share this lecture with other people as well. This will help them with their studies too. With this, let's talk about electronic vehicles. Now, we know these things. We have talked about this thing that 14 out of 15 most polluted cities in the world are from our country, India. This is a very sad thing, and to get rid of this pollution is a big priority for all of us, right? For the government, for people as well, because we are the ones who are using this smoky, you can say, carbon emitting vehicles, big, thirsty, juicy cars, you know, this big cars with big engines, SUVs and other sports cars and other things are something that we find in our Indian roads nowadays. And it's not just about big thirsty cars. The overall quantity of vehicle has gone up because of GDP growth and other developmental things. Nowadays, means I'm sure you have seen this phase that when we were youngs, right, when we were kids, hardly people used to have vehicles, and car was a rare thing. Very few families used to own cars. But nowadays, basic car is something that you find in every family. Generally speaking, everyone has got a four-wheeler. So more vehicles are out there. Apart from that, we have got this climate change thing going on. Recently we saw this dust storms and other things taking place in our country. That too brings lots and lots of dust. Construction is going on. So all these things, right, they add up to this greenhouse gases, as well as this smoke or dust that we find, particulate matters. And finally they are, you know, we talked about this thing that somewhere around 8% of our GDP we lose because of air pollution. Now, the thing is, to get rid of it, the best thing that we have is electronic vehicles. This is going to be the future. China has done very well in introduction of electronic vehicles. We are also not that bad. We are not that far behind. But if we successfully introduce electronic vehicles, and if I have said this thing earlier on as well, if we can get this breakthrough in batteries, say for example, then we can be a leading country, right? We can be a lead, we can have a lead in terms of other countries around the world. You know, so far we have seen this petrol and diesel vehicles. They are always either from Western country or they are from Japan. But if we get something in terms of battery in our country, then we can, for a very long period of time, we will rule the whole world as far as economy and vehicles are concerned. Now the thing is, are we ready for it, or can we really do it? Yes, we can, because the thing is, the basic requirement is your fuel, isn't it? And in electronic vehicle, of course, the fuel is electricity. Can we produce, or are we producing enough electricity at present in our country? Yes, we are. We have a surplus electricity production in our country. An additional of 50,000 megawatt is in the pipeline. Then as far as green electricity or renewable source of electricity is concerned, we are going to take over the whole of European Union by 2022. Once we will achieve this 175 gigawatt, we will be producing more electricity than the total of European Union, and it is going to cross 200 gigawatt as per Government of India. Right, our target, official target, is 175, but we will easily cross 200 gigawatt, and it will of course get bigger and bigger in future with the introduction of new technologies. So fuel, we have plenty of it. Electricity for EVs would not be a constraint for our country. The other thing is, as far as this technology for this charging station is concerned, we have introduced this thing in our country. We have many charging stations. Of course, at present they are more like pilot projects, but we do have this technology, and the good thing about this is that investment is modest. It's not that heavy investment that you require, right? Of course, once means in this time when we are introducing it in different parts, so capital investment will be there, but the returns as well are not that bad. We can rope in discoms and they can help us. We can give them this extra responsibility of building charging stations around our country. The other thing is, electric taxis can run without subsidies. We have this FAME India that is going on. We talked about this thing that government is thinking about adding or giving some extra helping hand to all these taxi drivers, so that they can get somewhere around 2.5 lakh rupees if they are changing their diesel and petrol vehicles from diesel and petrol to electronic vehicles. So this sort of subsidies, of course, they will help us, and the rates of this electricity production as well as running these cars are also not that high. If you see electric vehicles, then once we introduce it with the help of public transportation like buses and other things, once we introduce this thing, then what can happen is the production will go up, a new R&D will take place, new technologies will come in, so we will have this ecosystem in our country, and then we can find new models of cars, bigger cars, and more luxurious cars running on electricity, or more luxurious EVs. And if we compare their running cost, then diesel, if you compare their running cost with diesel cars, if you compare this maintenance cost of electric vehicles with diesel car, then we find that it is much cheaper to run them as far as this cost per kilometer is concerned. The other thing is it means electronic vehicles breakdown is bit less, engine is not that complicated compared to diesel and petrol cars. So there are many benefits as well, and it will create more jobs as well in future, because something new will disturb the whole market and it will create jobs as well. That's what we have seen so far. The other thing is, it will provide us a bit of immunity as well from these high crude oil prices. If you see prices of different items, right, generally speaking, 14 to 15% of cost of any product, generally speaking, is because of this transportation. Now, once we introduce, say for example, just imagine if we have electronic trucks, EV trucks, EV buses, EV rickshaws and other goods carriers, then the transportation cost will come down and our products will become bit less expensive or bit more reasonable for domestic market as well as international market as well. We will have this competitive edge. The other thing is that I would like to add here is that recently GST Council took a decision. I'm sure you remember this thing, that many items, somewhere around 100 plus items, were taken from 18% tax slab to 12%. So government took this decision keeping in mind this prices of final products in the market. And in our country, we know this thing that most of the people, right, majority of population is still not wealthy. We have like biggest number of poor people living in our country. So day-to-day items, if 18% GST is charged on them, then it becomes unaffordable for this poor people in our country. So government decided to leave this extra revenue that it used to get, and it has made items bit cheaper. But what we find nowadays is that petrol prices have gone up. So what is happening actually is that government is getting less money because of this change in tax slab of different items. Things are getting bit cheaper because of this decision. But when petrol prices are going up, this effect is getting nil. There is no effect at all. So this sort of things which disturbs our whole economy, we can get rid of these things once we introduce this electronic vehicle. So it is win-win for every one of us in terms of economy, in terms of poor people, in terms of environment and job creation. The other thing is, once we have this charging infrastructure, we can announce that in cities like Delhi, permits will be given to electronic taxis only. Once we have proper setup, we can also come out with this aggressive time schedule so that people, say for example in next 3 years, people will replace, or they will be forced to replace their old vehicles with new electronic vehicles. We can have more three-wheelers and scooters and other items that is running on electricity, and this will be a game changer for our country. So I hope this add-on will has in fact added, it will of course, and it has added extra knowledge to what we have talked already as far as EVs are concerned. Now moving on to some important news items. Supreme Court has approved the centre's draft Kaveri management scheme for smooth distribution of water among 4 South riparian states. You have to be more precise, 3 states and 1 union territory of Puducherry. You have Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala as 3 southern states that are associated with this Kaveri river. Now a bench has decided that government, means it has relied on government, it has asked government that the decision should be, or whatever conclusion you take out from this Kaveri management scheme, it should be logical, it should be rational, it should be impartial. And it has also rejected Karnataka and Kerala government's suggestion regarding this scheme. It has also rejected this Tamil Nadu's plea of contempt of court by Centre for not delivering this scheme on time. One of the reasons I think is because Supreme Court does not want to stretch this particular issue. It has been going on for a very long period of time. It all started back in 1924, but it became a bit aggressive in early 70s. And then we can see many ups and downs. I will leave it for you guys to go through it. I have discussed this thing earlier on as well. It's just as for your revision, I have added these pictures here, and of course for new students as well. So I will recommend you guys to download this PDF and go through this important timeline of Kaveri. It all started, as I told you, in 24, and it came to a logical end in this year on February 16th when Supreme Court distributed or came out with this figures that out of total 740 TMC feet, 284.75 will go to Karnataka, 404 for Tamil Nadu, 30 for Kerala. Puducherry gets 7, environmental protection 10, and inevitable escape to sea gets 4 TMC. Then you have other items here. This was published in Hindu back in 17th February. So go through it and you will come to know everything about everything that is important regarding this Kaveri timeline is covered in these 2 pictures. Now moving on to another important news item. It is associated with Jammu and Kashmir. Prime Minister was there in Jammu and Kashmir. He talked about Ramzan. He talked about this decision of central government that security operations will be you can say will be called off for time being. And one of the main reasons why this decision has been taken is to ensure that all these peace-loving people in Jammu and Kashmir 95% plus peace-loving people, or 95% of population of Jammu and Kashmir, they are seeking peace, they are seeking development, they are seeking good future and good present. So keeping this religious festival in mind, or this religious month in mind, holy month in mind, government has decided that this search and seizure operations will not be conducted. And here we find that Prime Minister has laid down foundation stone of Jhelum Tunnel. Now, Jhelum Tunnel is a very important tunnel. You find questions. Now, if you go back in 2017's prelims question of UPSC, and in 2016's as well. In 2017, I think this Dhola Sadiya question was there. And you find this type of things in your prelims examination. It can fetch you good marks, right? 2 marks, you can cash it. So pay attention to all these important features. And one of the most important thing that I find here is this, that it connects this Srinagar Kargil Leh highway, and that is National Highway number 1. Remember this number, it is very important. It will also be beneficial for the state. It will be a sort of all-weather road, all-weather tunnel, open 24/7, 365 days. So heavy snowfall will not cut off Ladakh from other region of Kashmir. This will cut down time. Earlier on or now it takes, say for example, 3 hours and 30 minutes. This will be cut down to 15 minutes only. So this is going to be a game changer for the economy, for the people as well. Less pollution if you have to travel less, isn't it? So all these things are of course associated with this Jhelum Tunnel, and it has got all these safety features. It is also termed as a smart tunnel. It has CCTV monitoring, full transverse ventilation system, traffic logging equipment, and all these things. It will take 5 years time, and hopefully if it is completed on time or before that, then it will bring this it will be a boon for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Apart from that, Prime Minister has also dedicated 330 megawatt Kishanganga hydro power station to the nation. My very dear colleague Saurabh Pandey sir came out with a special video lecture on this thing. It is available on our YouTube channel. Do check it out. You will find some important information associated with Indus Water Treaty, Kishanganga, and river on which you find it, its capacity, and other items. Apart from that, Prime Minister has also laid down a foundation for other important projects in Jammu and Kashmir. A very important announcement or information or declaration coming from Water Resources Minister, who is Mr. Gadkari. Mr. Gadkari is, I think, this is my personal observation without favoring any particular political party. I am just talking about Mr. Gadkari, that he is an achiever. That's what I think, because if you see his work, and if you'll also observe, I have seen and gone through many of his interview, and the deadline that he gives, generally speaking, he achieves things in deadline. He's also called Bridge Gadkari because he is very much enthusiastic about this transportation, or you can say transport, like highways and waterways and other things. So he has said that by March 2019, 70 to 80% of our Ganga will be clean, and this is going to be a big achievement for our country. I have said this thing earlier on, and I would like to remind all of you that Ganga is a river, and the speciality of this river is that if you compare other rivers, then this is a river on which maximum amount of population is relying on Ganga, not on Amazon, not on Nile. It is Ganga, on which you find huge amount of population that is directly associated with Ganga. Ganga looks after so many crores and crores of people. So in this term, if 70 to 80% of Ganga is getting cleaned, then this is going to bring cheers for all the people who are directly or indirectly relying on Ganga. He has also said that Centre has provided all the money that is required to state governments, and that does not mean that responsibility of central government is over. He has specifically said that with cooperation of states, he will ensure that the project gets completed on time. With this, we have some good news associated with water. That Ministry of Earth Science has said that monsoon will hit our country. It starts with Kerala on 29th of May, which is a good thing. Plus minus 4 days, you can say, you can take, right? It could be, of course, bit late. You never know. It could be a bit earlier on as well. But the good thing here that you find, or very important information, is that by mid-July, that is, it takes 45 days for monsoon to take over or to spread around the whole of our country. Here you can see this geographical phenomena. You will find this sort of information in your NCERTs. As you can see here, in the winter time, the wind is blowing from or coming from northeastern part, right? Then what happens is, at this point of time in winter time, this low pressure ITCZ is somewhere around equator or below equator. As summer comes in or kicks in, this ITCZ moves a bit up, and in summertime you have it over here properly covering our nation. Then low pressure is created by this upward movement of ITCZ, and all these winds, right, they head towards, then they start moving from this portion, they start heading towards our country. So whilst they are traveling over this Indian Ocean, this dry winds, they cover all this moisture, and by time they come here, they unload all this water that they carry. So this is how our monsoon works, and that's why you find this term called southwest. So this is southern portion and this is western portion here. So this is the reason why it is called southwest monsoon. I'm sure you might have heard about or studied about this thing in geography. If not, then you should understand this phenomena, very important one. Sad news because in your civil services examination you have to face personality test. Now, no particular examination, you can say, or system is flawless. You find people who are not ethical, who are not morally right. They do enter this system. Not that many, but many times you find one or two people like this. Of course, with the invention of new technology, new ways of psychological analysis and other things, we can improve this ratio. But we find many times that people, even if they crack this civil services, they are posted at a very high place then as well. They do things what Madhuri Gupta has done. She was a former diplomat of our country, and she is charged by a Delhi court, sentenced for 3 years for providing confidential information to intelligence service of Pakistan. So from this thing, what you can learn is that there are very good people out there, good examples. They do set good examples, good, hardworking, patriotic civil servants. And from now on, you should, start working on your personality as well. Your social etiquettes, how you behave, your reactions, your stereotypes, all these things. You need to work on these things, and knowledge will help you with your own observation. And there are many good books out there, autobiographies that do help you a lot. You can learn do's and don'ts from all these famous people and their experiences with their life. Meditation is a thing that can help you with your personality development, your observation power. You can observe your own self, and meditation can help you. And the reason why I'm saying meditation, the thing is, it is not associated with any religion. It is scientific. It is 100% scientific, right? It is nothing to do with any religious chants or other things, or sutras or mantras, right? You can just observe your breath, and this will help you a lot. It will make you calmer. It will improve your observation power. It will make you fresh as well. So do give it a go. It will help you with your personality test, because PT is something that you cannot do in 1 or 2 months. You have to start working on it as soon as you can, right? There is no fixed timeline, but The earlier you start, it is better for you. Now we have a news from Gilgit-Baltistan. A US-based activist from Gilgit-Baltistan has raised this issue in front of United Nations, that there should be a fact-finding mission of UN in this Gilgit-Baltistan region. This is the place that we are talking about. It is under Pakistan control. You can see that this portion was gifted to China by Pakistan. Aksai Chin is being occupied by China. And let me clarify one thing, that all this yellow, green, red, grayish and brown portion that you see, right, it belongs to our country. But at present it may be under the control of different countries, but it belongs to our country. And what we find most of the time, that Pakistan blames India, that we are conducting all this as a nation, we are doing atrocities with the people of Jammu and Kashmir, but that is not a reality. In fact, it is Pakistan that is snatching away land from these poor farmers in this place, and it is taking away acres and acres of land from this kisans, or you can say this farmers. And in fact, China is not controlling, because China's CPEC, this China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is passing from this region. So China is not raising its voice on this heavy-handedness of Pakistan. Now let's wait and watch. Let's see if UN is going to take any stand on it or not. And we have one small update on JCPOA, that is Iran nuclear deal. Germany has said this thing, or German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said this thing, that European Union, or this Germany, Britain, France, they are called E3. They are going to stick with this JCPOA. Russia is of course going to stick with JCPOA, because Russia and Iran are important partners. And China of course is, because of various geopolitical reasons, you know it why, it will also support this JCPOA. So here we find that a country, one of the most powerful country in the world, USA, may get isolated in United Nations. Again, we have to wait and watch for this thing, but a very important update. That's everything in today's discussion. Don't forget to check out StudyIQ.com to find out more about our pen drive and tablet courses. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, and do share this lecture with your friends too. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you all soon. Till then, enjoy your studies, enjoy your day. Jai Hind.